Hey guys. Hey, my name's Rich. I wanted to, you guys can call me Uncle Rich if you want. I wanted to start this YouTube channel for a lot of different reasons. Two of the main big reasons is because I'm probably never going to have kids. I made a decision a while back not to have children. It just doesn't make sense at this part in my life, and I've had too many challenges trying to find a partner, right? And I have a ton of knowledge to pass on, right? The other reason is because I see kind of a pandemic, if you will, of you know men not being men anymore. I mean, they're just, for lack of a better term, they're just all bitches. I mean, they're they're there's no balls out there anymore. There's no men with balls that want to really go their own direction and really have any type of direction, you know. And you know, I've mentored some people. You know what I mean. I've been a teacher in the past. I've done a lot of work with you know with men, right? And I've helped them. I've helped them in a lot of ways. You know, if it's not by kind of schooling them and teaching them how to be different and how to be a better version of themselves, it's by example. And I work in an industry, so I'll tell you a little bit about myself. I'm an electrical engineer, right? And I work at a government contracting service, right? And we build missiles. Okay, I work for Raytheon, and I'm a lead electrical engineer, which means that I help. I help develop younger engineers. I was a design engineer for years, electrical design in power, mixed signal processing, that sort of thing. You know what I mean? Digital, configurable logic, that sort of stuff. I mean, if these are all, Chinese to you, just go look it up. Feel free. But it's not important. It may be important, later on when I start talking about my career and, the career aspect of this, it'll be relevant. But I just kind of wanted to tell you, you know, where I come from. And, the big thing with me is that I grew up in pretty much a single parent home. I mean, my dad was there, but he was pretty non existent. I mean, he was just kind of, he was just right above a stool, sitting at your kitchen counter. You know what I mean? He was kind of an involuntary muscle, didn't participate in life, just was there. And my mom just kind of ran the show. You know what I mean? My mom was the one who brought me up. She taught me how to be a man, right? And because of that, there was a lot of holes. You know what I mean? I didn't have the background that I really needed to be a good solid man in the universe, right? So when I was in my late 30s, I got introduced to, I went through a really bad breakup. Ever since I've gone through a divorce, and that sort of thing. So it wakes you up, and that's when a lot of people come to YouTube, and they try to figure out, they get guys like Jordan Peterson, or you know Rollo Tomasi, or those kind of guys. And then you get different flavors of it. You know what I mean? You got Jordan Peterson, who's kind of like, purple pillish, if you will. And I'll explain the pills in a minute. And then, you got guys on the other end of the spectrum, like Rollo Tomasi, who's, red pill. You know what I mean? And the whole idea, is, for years, I was sold this narrative. I was brought up by my mom, like I said, and I was brought up in an environment where, the man is a people pleaser. He kind of bows to, his friends, his girlfriends, and he kind of goes with the current, if you will, right? And that I never really got that. I never really understood that, but there was nobody around for me to ask, And then when I got into my late 30s, I kind of had to look back and say, what the fuck's going on here? You know what I mean? Like, I'm the common denominator here. Something's wrong with the way I look at life because I'm not winning in the relationship category. I did everything that I needed to do from my career and, from my personal life, right? I mean, but my relationships were struggling and I couldn't figure out why. And I've always been like this kind of oddball out kind of guy, right? I've always looked at the world from a different angle, right? I never bought into the narrative that was out there. You know what I mean? Like the narrative of, happy wife, happy life. You got to get married. You got to have children. You got to do, all of these things in order to have a complete life. I bought into, okay, I got to get my education. I got to do that, in order to make money so I can provide for all of that, and I worked hard and you know what I mean? I make really good money. I'm in a good place. I can retire in probably the next 5 years, so I've gotten that part of my life really good. But when it comes to friendships or when it comes to relationships, I just never really figured it out, and I was always going with the current and it never felt comfortable for me. You know what I mean? So when I got a little bit older, I went through, all these hardships, with friendships and relationships that I was just like, wait a minute, I gotta look at myself. Maybe I gotta look in the mirror and say, what the fuck is wrong with me, right? So I did that and I started transforming a little bit, right? I said, you know what? Fuck this, man. I don't want to please anybody. I don't care what anybody thinks about me. I don't care about the narrative out there. I don't care about not being married. Because ever since I was 28 years old, everybody's been telling me, what's wrong with you? You're not married, And just for context, I'm going to be 50 years old in 2 weeks, and ever since I was 28, even up until now, people are always like, what's wrong with you? How come you're not married? So, well, something's wrong with you, And when I share the ideas that I'm going to be sharing on this channel with you, they say, oh, that's what's wrong with you. That's what's wrong with you. You're just bitter, or you're just, and I said, no. It has nothing to do with that. I just look at the world in a different light now. You know what I mean? It's just completely different. And I'll get into that a little bit, right? So, when I was about 38 years old, I ran into this guy on YouTube. His name's Coach Corey Wayne. And that changed my life, man. Just the way he looks at the world, the way he sees the world, and the way he sees dating. And it really was dating, the dating aspect, right? But then I started applying it to friends, started applying it to my career, all these different areas that I started really applying a lot of this stuff to, And, I bought his book. He's got a book called 3% Man. Fantastic book. You guys got to get this, man. If you follow it to a T, you will do well in the dating arena, right? And in life, really, because it applies to everything. So, I took that to heart. I really, I read his book 10 to 15 times, like he says. I I really owned it, and I had a lot of success. Well, I met someone, and I dove right in, man. I dove right in because the big problem with me, what I saw as a problem because of the fucking narrative that was out there. What I saw as a problem was that people were, telling me that I got to do this and that, do this and that, right? Well, I knew that something was wrong. Something was not right. So I started listening to these people, right? And that's exactly what I did with this woman. I dove right in. We moved in together after, I asked her to move in to my house that I was paying for. I asked her to move in about 8 months. And then I asked her to marry me about, I think it was like 15, 18 months later, something like that, right? And, I don't get me wrong, I was in love with her, you know what I mean? And to some extent, I'm still in love with her. She's a wonderful woman. But, a lot of skeletons started falling out of the closet, and I'll explain that I'll talk more in depth about that kind of stuff later, about red flags and things that you guys kind of have to look at, right? But that's what made me dive really into what's called the red pill. And let me take a little segue out and kind of explain the red pill and blue pill, right? There's a bunch of different pills out there. I don't give a fuck what you call it, whatever. And I understand the logic behind the different colors and pills, but the main are the red and the blue, okay? So the red, it's based off the Matrix, right? The whole idea of the Matrix, that scene where they're in that really dark area, it's really dramatic, and they're Morpheus pulls out two pills, right? He's got a red pill and a blue pill, and he says, well, if you take this blue pill, you go back to your ordinary life and nothing will change. Take this red pill, I'll show you how far down the rabbit hole it goes. And the whole premise behind the blue and the red, right? The blue is you wake up in your ordinary life, nothing changes, you keep going on, and you keep doing the same thing. The definition of insanity, right? You keep doing the same thing over and over again, you expect a different result. But the different result never comes. You're just getting the same result. But then the red pill is you see the world in a different way. And that's the pill I chose to take, right? I took it at, I don't know, it was like 38, 39 years old. And, I really got into it after my divorce with that woman that I told you guys about. And it's a culmination, right, of everything that has kind of happened to me. And really diving into the red pill. And you guys got to be really careful when you look at, the red pill versus the blue pill, that sort of thing. Because you can really dive into it and you can really get pissed off. You know what I mean? And a lot of people call that the black pill, right? Where you go MGTOW, men going their own way, and you don't want to have anything to do with women. And, no. MGTOW is a nice place to visit, but I wouldn't want to live there, kind of thing, right? I mean, you need to really focus on yourself. And that's exactly what I did. So when I got into the red pill stuff, I put it in context, right? I always try to look at everybody's perspective and find the best benefit for me, okay? I agree with a lot of the red pill, some of the blue pill, a little bit, you know what I mean? Because you have to have some sort of hope. the red pill will take all the hope out of you, man, honestly, really. If you really internalize it, you know what I mean? But, you kind of have to have a good mixture, right? The rest of the pills, I don't know what the fuck they are. You know what I mean? And I don't really care. what I'm gonna be talking about here, I don't know if you consider me red pill or blue pill or whatever the fuck, you know what I mean? I know I'm definitely not blue pill, but I don't know if you consider me completely red pill either. Um, I had another channel. I started another channel where I was talking a lot about red pill content, but after visiting it, after really, the time I spent on the red pill, it's it's got a negative connotation now, right? I mean, after a lot of these guys, man, they just kind of took it over the edge. They really did, man. And they've gotten into the asshole realm, and I don't believe in that. I'm not going to point out. I'll point out what's his name, Andrew Tate. That guy just took it fucking off the rails. I mean, there's some shit that I may somewhat agree with. You know what I mean? Like the self improvement stuff. Don't be such a pussy. Really, improve yourself, make yourself a better person. All that kind of shit. I just don't agree with the way he philosophizes about, the female, you know, um, female nature, and how men are supposed to be, and this and that. Because it's a little bit too much. It's just, dude, settle down. Get off the caffeine kind of thing, right? You know what I mean? And he's really intense. You know what I mean? So that's kind of what I'm talking about, right? I mean, he's pretty extreme, but you got guys like Rich Cooper and Rollo Tomasi, and I'd say Corey Wayne's in that realm too. You know what I mean? That are red pilled. Probably, I would say probably more of a healthy red pill, right? They're big on improving themselves, making themselves a better version of themselves. But holding their frame, being who they want to be. Don't let anybody knock you off your pedestal, that sort of thing. So I'm gonna kind of talk in that ring because that's pretty much what I agree with. I've listened to their shit. I agree with a lot of what they say, but I'm going to put it in context for me, and what I'm hoping for, because I'm going to throw a little bit of religion in there. I'm going to throw a little bit, because I'm Catholic, diehard Catholic. I was, Mexican, Italian. You know what I mean? So, I'm a paisan. You know what I mean? So like, I'm Catholic Church. All the way till I die. So I'm going to throw a little bit of that. Throw a little bit, mostly the Mexican culture, because that's what I grew up in. You know what I mean? I have a little bit of Italian, that will kind of pour in because they're very similar. And then, I just want to talk about putting it in my context, because I'm a lot like a lot of you guys out there, right? I was born in a single family household, brought up by my mom. She's the one who taught me, and I was soft. I was soft for a long time. But I always, there was two directions, right? Everybody wanted me to go blue pill because that's the narrative. That's what everybody teaches you. That's the way all your friends are. My dad's friends were all like that, happy wife, happy life. And, oh, I got to get married. I got to have kids. And, I'm going to be an involuntary muscle. I'm going to let my wife do everything. And I'm just going to sit here in the background kind of thing, right? I don't agree with that. I've never agreed with that. And that's probably part of the problem, right? Because I've always gotten into relationships and I never felt comfortable being in relationships. It's just an oddity for me, because I never met somebody that, it was a balanced relationship. I get into a relationship and either I'd fold because that's what I thought I had to do. And then I didn't feel comfortable. So I'm like, oh shit, I'm going to get out of this, man. You know what I mean? And then I ended up dumping them and getting the fuck out because I got in too deep. And oh, dude, it's just awful. I just kind of succumbed, like I was going to get married when I was 28. And, I mean, I basically, they basically cut off my balls and put them on the fucking mantle. You know what I mean? Because I thought that's what you had to do. I didn't like it. I didn't feel comfortable. And there was certain aspects of that relationship that said, fuck this. I'm out of here, man. I'm not doing this. You know what I mean? And it just made me go a completely different route. But I kept running into people who were blue-pilled who said, well, you got to go down this path. But my instinct, me personally, was like, fuck that, man. I want to go down this path, right? I've always, and that's where I'm coming from, okay? Because a lot of these cats that I followed their content, they became red pill, right? They became red pill because they saw what it was about, right? And they saw, they read a book, they looked at a YouTube video, whatever the case may be, right? I've always been red pill. That is my true nature, right? And then I ran into the red pill content and I'm like, oh, fuck. So this is a thing. I never understood that because society, right? 90% of society or whatever, 99% of society was telling me, you got to go this route. This is where it's at, man. But my instinct, the 1%, right, was telling me, nah, dude, that just does not feel right, So when I ran into the red pill and some of this manosphere or swamp, whatever you want to call it, right? Content, I was like, oh shit, dude, this is a thing. Like, I never knew it was okay to be like that. Like, I have a lot of weird quirks, right? I mean, I realized that about myself. And I started watching videos on like Sigma males and shit like that. I don't know if that's all bullshit or what, but I fit the profile of a Sigma male, 150%. There's everything that they say that a Sigma male is. Every description they've provided, all that stuff. That's what resonates with me. I mean, I'm just like, I was watching a couple videos this morning. I'm like, holy fuck, dude, that is me. You know what I mean? Like I do my own thing. I don't listen to anybody. I don't give a shit about the status quo out there. I don't give a shit about fashion or what people are fucking wearing. You know what I mean? I don't care about that stuff. I'm not out there trying to impress women. I don't even approach women. I don't do that shit, man. You know what I mean? I just go out with my daily life and I'll meet people. I'll just talk to people. I'm friendly. I really don't give a shit. You know what I mean? I think of the world in a different way. I think things differently than most people. Like even at work, I'm in meetings and I'm like, everybody's like, okay, we're going to go, let's try going this way. And I said, no, what about going this way? And I'm a lead, so they have to listen to me, right? So we go the way I say, and it always works out, And I'm not telling you guys this to toot my own horn or anything like that. I'm not saying that I'm above everybody or whatever the fuck, you know what I mean? I've spent the majority of my 40s trying to figure this shit out. You know what I mean? Trying to figure myself out. Because I was always the common denominator and I wondered, what am I doing wrong? Right? Well, what I'm doing wrong is not being the true essence of me. Because I was knocked off my kilter because I'm surrounded by blue-pilled motherfuckers that just think the status quo is fine. And I've always questioned the status quo. So what I've been doing and what I've been working on since I was posting those last videos is I've been working about trying to figure out who I am. And I know that sounds like a cop out, right? Who am I, right? You know what I mean? It just sounds weird, but what I've been trying to do is figure out who I really am, and be the essence of that person, you know? And what's really helped me a lot with it, I mean, the red pill did some of it, right? It really helped me. But these Sigma male videos, you know what I mean, that I've been watching, because I never was alpha male. I never fit into that category, and I never truly was a beta male. So that's all there was back then. So when the Sigma thing started coming out, I'm like, who the fuck? Really? Now they're just making shit up, right? But whatever it is, whatever you want to call it, I fit 100% into it. Like, I don't want attention. I really don't. I'm a lead in my job, but I'm not the lead. You know what I mean? I'm a lead because that's where I feel comfortable. Like I said, I don't approach women. I don't feel comfortable. This Me Too movement is just fucked up. So, I just play the background. I do my thing. I'll talk to them. I'll talk to them in lines at the grocery store, or, I'll say hi at the gym or whatever the fuck. But I'm not going to go up to you and be all, oh, how you doing? And do these cheesy pickup. Like, fuck that, dude. I don't do none of that. Because the way I think about it is, if they see, if I do my thing and I'm doing it to the way I want to do it, right? I go in there to the gym. I don't fuck around. I'm business. I work out. I'm big on health. And, somebody's going to see that. They're going to be attracted to that. That's just kind of the way I feel about it. You know what I mean? It's no big deal. And I'm in no hurry anyway. It really doesn't fucking matter. I don't have issues with women, I have issues trying to find value in women. That's the problem. At my age, at 50, what you run into is all the leftovers, and I'm not trying to be an asshole to women, but, do the work. You know what I mean? I've done the work. I've been to therapy. I've been dealing with my shit because I knew I was the fucking common denominator. I knew I was doing something wrong, but nobody could teach me what my dad should have taught me, or what my uncle should have taught me, or something like that. You know what I mean? And what I found out is that the combination of red pill shit, and then the just understanding Sigma males, made me realize who I really was. I don't like small talk. You know what I mean? I take walks with my dog around the neighborhood, and, my neighborhood, the majority of the people are retired, and they like that fucking small talk. I don't like that shit, man. Just, dude, you got something to say it. You know what I mean? Let's get to the fucking point. I mean, it's stuff like that. I'd rather hang with my dog than talk to most people, because they don't add fucking value to my life. People nowadays, I just feel that they don't have anything of substance to talk about, and that's the problem. So, I'm kind of an asshole. I mean, they might think I'm an asshole. I come off as an asshole because I'm like, ooh, look at the time, man. Later, I'm out. You know what I mean? I just don't have time for it. And then on dates, oh, it's even worse, man. If I'm dating somebody and I go out on a date and they're not offering fucking value, I'll be like, hey, it's been real. We'll see you later. You know what I mean? Now, if they're looking at their phone and doing that Instagram bullshit, you know what I mean? I'll get up and I'll fucking leave. I don't give a shit. I'm in my fuck it 50s now. So, you know what? I don't care. I don't care what you think. I don't care what anybody thinks. I'm here because I want to help you guys. I want to offer a different perspective that I feel is beneficial, and I've been helping a lot of people. I've helped, I'm helping my cousin right now. I've helped people just that I've run into. They've asked me questions about dating and life and that sort of thing. So I've educated them on my philosophy, and that's what I want to do here at this channel. I want to offer different perspectives, and the things that I do, I want to be open and honest with you guys and just help you guys. And I hope I'm here on YouTube because I think I can add value to the world. So I'm going to leave it here. I'm already at 30 minutes. I really hope that you guys got something out of, this, it can relate. And, I hope my story kind of resonates with you guys. And I really want to give you guys my perspective. I think a lot of the red pill guys or, blue pilled or whatever, they give you a perspective. I'm going to put a personal touch on it. And some of them have put a personal touch, like Rich Cooper puts on personal touch, Corey Wayne puts on personal touch, right? But a lot of them are very theoretical. They're cerebral, you know what I mean? And that's good. I don't see anything wrong with that. But, I'm going to put my perspective on it, maybe put a little bit of, with a little bit of, religion in there, a little bit of, what I think and my feel, my intuition, that sort of thing, and how I navigate through, and how I've navigated and navigate through life, because I think I have a completely different perspective than the majority of individuals. I think I share a lot of their ideas, but it's just in a different context. And that's what I think is going to differ, with me from the rest of the manosphere out there. You know what I mean? So I really hope you guys get some value from this. I really want to help you guys out there because there's so many males that are struggling. And it breaks my heart. I don't want to see you guys struggle like that. Because I've struggled my entire life. I found out later in life. And, if I had known this shit when I was, in my teens and 20s, man, my life probably would have been very different, So listen up, listen to the rest of my content, man. I'll be posting videos every week. I really hope you guys get something out of it. Let me know in the comments down below. And I'll leave some contact information if you want to set up some coaching sessions or whatever, and we can start getting that rolling. I charge for my coaching sessions now because, I've done a lot of coaching out there and, they're demanding more of my time. So I kind of have to regulate it with pricing and that sort of thing. So I just want to help, man. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to have kids. I'm not going to have, I got cousins and all that shit, and I try to help them out, but they only listen to little bits and pieces that they want. They don't know anything, But I really want the people that really want help to seek me out, and I'll be more than happy to help where I can, because we need to get better, guys. You know what I mean? The women are becoming feminists and, walking away from men and not giving you a chance because, bottom line, you guys don't know how to fucking act. There's a lot of guys out there, if a woman turns them down, they take it personally and they're like, what, I'm not good enough for you and this and that. No, dude. Actually, you talking that way, you're not good enough for her. You know what I mean? You're just, dude, just say, hey, if anything changes, let me know. I'd love to take you out. It's not personal. It's not, nobody will ever do or say anything to you that they do not feel in that particular moment. So you just have to believe in that. Number one, believe in yourself, and don't take anything personal, man. It's not personal. Chances are they're having some fucked up life, you know? So that's lesson one. And I'll get into that next time. All right, guys. Thanks for your time. Peace.